when two fearless college students, Richard Patton and Clark McConnell, set out on a thrilling adventure. They aimed to uncover the secrets within the fourth chamber of Jacob's Well Cave, a site that had already claimed the lives of at least 8 divers. However, their peaceful underwater journey quickly turned into a terrifying ordeal when only one of them managed to make it out alive. This is the true tragedy of Richard Patton and Clark McConnell at Jacob's Well. Richard Patton, age 22, of New Braunfels, and Clark McConnell, age 24, of San Marcos, were both ready for their first adventure in Jacob's Well, an iconic destination that promises adventure and picturesque scenery. Both Richard and Clark were members of an advanced diving class at Southwest Texas State University at St. Marcos. At that moment, the two boys couldn't imagine that their lack of experience, coupled with their overconfidence in their abilities, would lead to the death of one of them. However, what drove them to Jacob's Well was not its crystal clear waters, but the mysterious cave system that remains hidden underneath, largely unexplored, and lures seasoned divers to its enigmatic chambers. But is risking your own life at Jacob's Well worth it? Jacob's Well is not just an ordinary pool. With its mysterious depths reaching approximately 30 meters, it holds secrets that extend far beyond its tranquil surface. Descending into its abyss reveals a complex network of underwater passages, twisting and turning like the tentacles of an octopus. Many believe that these caves, hidden beneath the surface, remain largely unexplored and shrouded in mystery. Jacob's Well, once a lovely spot for diving, has become a scary place. 8 divers have lost their lives within its depth. Underneath the clear water, there are dark caves, and if you accidentally touch the ground, it gets all cloudy and you can't see anything. It's like being in a spooky place where you can't see and you don't know what's around you. A really dangerous spot, even for the bravest divers. With 4 chambers that grow increasingly dangerous with every descent, Jacob's Well conceals dangers that lurk in the darkness below. Here is an overview of how the cave is designed. The first chamber is 30 to 55 feet and is suitable for amateur divers. The second chamber, which is 55 to 80 feet, is better for novice divers. The third chamber, which is approximately 80 to 90 feet, is solely for expert divers. And the fourth chamber, which is 90 plus feet, is just walking into a lion's den. At 8:30 p.m., Richard and Clark began their dive innocently enough. In the first chamber, they experienced a dizzying drop into a darkness that descends 30 feet. Despite the sunlight filtering through, this chamber overflows with life and algae, masking the dangers ahead. But right when they started feeling comfortable and safe, the cave showed its true colors, angling down to an unexpected 55 feet. But as Richard and Clark entered the second chamber, they understand that this chamber holds a sinister secret. At a chilling depth of 80 feet, divers encounter a deceptive trap, a false chimney that could potentially trap them in its entirety. At this point, Richard and Clark seemed unconcerned by any threat to their lives from the chimney. As they continue their journey to the fourth chambers, the boys navigate through the cramped confines of the third chamber, filled with unstable gravel. This implies that a single misstep or accidental contact with the surroundings could turn the water into their worst nightmare, a cloud of dust shrouding everything in darkness. As divers brave the tight passage leading to the fourth chamber, known ominously as the Virgin Cave, they enter a world covered in darkness and mystery. To access this inaccessible chamber, divers must remove their air tanks, push them ahead into the darkness, and cautiously navigate through the narrow passage. However, those who dare to venture into the final chamber rarely return, so no one knows how it looks from the inside. The majority never resurface at all, their fate forever entwined with the chilling secrets of Jacob's Well. Don Dibble, a man usually responsible for the rescue operations at Jacob's Well and Patton's instructor at the advanced diving class, had nearly died trying to rescue 2 bodies in 1979. This is when Dibble tried to block off the deeper parts of the well by putting up a gate to prevent people from going too far. But not long after, he discovered the gate broken with a note that said, "You can't keep us out." But this warning was sure not enough to stop Richard and Clark. Clearly, both the divers were on the lookout for some thrill, confident of their skills, but they had underestimated the prowess of the cave. According to Dibble, both Richard and Clark were extremely experienced, very intelligent divers who were aiming to become instructors by taking an advanced diving class at the university. In fact, not long before their dives, Dibble warned his students never to go diving in Jacob's Well. So what happened to Richard Patton and Clark McConnell in 1983? Did they manage to reach the Virgin Cave? Despite all the obstacles, the two safely descended to the depth of 90 feet. This is where they faced a narrow tunnel blocked by a heavy metal gate, the exact same one installed by their professor, Don Dibble. We wouldn't be here telling you this story if these 2 young men decided to take this as a sign and quit their journey to go further. But alas, destiny clearly had other plans. Richard and Clark came up with a strategy to go ahead. To pass through, they made the harrowing decision to remove their air tanks, relying solely on the air hose for oxygen. Just imagine this. What lay on the other side remains a terrifying mystery, shrouded in darkness and uncertainty. Was this a step that could have been avoided? Tragically, as they attempted to navigate through the tunnel, disaster struck. Clark, who doesn't have a clear memory of the events, recalled the chilling moment when one of the tanks became jammed. Panic set in as they struggled to find a way out, but unfortunately, Richard emerged without his tank. This left the two stranded in the unforgiving depths. With no other options, they resorted to the buddy breathing system, sharing Clark's dwindling air supply in a desperate bid for survival. Yet, despite their experience and intelligence, they were no match for the dangerous conditions of Jacob's Well. Swimming with urgency, Richard and Clark pushed upwards toward the surface, their hearts pounding with fear and adrenaline. Escaping the confines of the 3rd chamber, they continued their desperate ascent through the 2nd chamber, but their relief was short-lived as they collided with something hard, sending shockwaves of panic through their bodies. This is the moment they too realized they had made a big mistake. Realization dawned upon them like a bolt of lightning. They had unknowingly swum into a false chimney, a deadly trap lurking in the depths of Jacob's Well. This chimney was especially infamous for trapping divers in its dreadful grasp. As they grappled with this terrifying truth, a sickening thunk echoed through the water, signaling the dreaded moment when their air supply ran dry. "The air ran out when we hit there," Clark had recounted. "I was stuck and couldn't breathe. It was a last-ditch effort to get out of there. I don't remember what happened." In a hopeless bid for survival, Clark managed to take one final breath before the tank emptied, his instincts driving him to escape the false chimney and emerge from the well. But fate had a cruel twist in store for Richard. Trapped in darkness, he fought against the suffocating grip of the water, desperate to find the surface. Will he manage to locate an air pocket and await the rescue team's return with fresh air? While he desperately tries to survive, Clark alarms the authorities of what just happened in the cave. Despite the swift response of rescue teams, their efforts were in vain. Deputy Harvey Taylor lamented, "Our hands were tied. There was nothing we could do." The rescue divers faced a daunting task, grappling with the realization that they had lost one of their own. Don Dibble, Patton's instructor and a veteran diver, led the recovery effort with a heavy heart, knowing that he had dived alongside both Patton and McConnell on previous occasions. In his final moments, Richard was engulfed by total darkness, his lungs burning for air as he struggled in vain against the relentless grip of the false chimney. The following morning, his lifeless body was discovered jammed into the top of the chimney, a tragic reminder of the dangers that lurked beneath the surface. As the sun rose on a new day, the waters of Jacob's well remained silent, holding tight to the secrets of its dark and unforgiving depths. Following a string of drownings that claimed the lives of about a dozen divers attempting to explore its bottom, the fourth chamber was sealed shut, forever closing its ominous depths to the outside world. However, the bodies of some of those brave divers remain trapped within the well, their final resting places forever intertwined with the chilling depths of Jacob's well. This was the true tragedy of Richard Patton. May his soul rest in peace.